Have you ever wondered if there could be someone in this world who has been alive for thousands of years? Yes, friends, today I'm going to tell you about 8 such immortal warriors who have existed on this earth for centuries and are still wandering among us even today. This is the story of the Asht Chiranjeevi, those great souls who were blessed with immortality by the gods. So stay with this video because today you will learn about such mysteries that perhaps you have never heard before. In Sanatan Dharma, Chiranjeevi means one who is immortal, who has no end. These are those divine souls who are bound to remain on this earth due to some promise, rule or curse. All of them possess divine powers, and it is believed that when Lord Kalki takes incarnation at the end of Kali Yuga, all these Chiranjeevis will support him. So let's know about these 8 immortal warriors in detail. First, let's talk about Mahavir Hanumanji. Hanumanji is considered an incarnation of Lord Shiva, and according to religious scriptures, he received many great boons. When Hanumanji reached Ravana's Lanka in search of Mother Sita and met Mother Janaki in Ashok Vatika, Mother Sita was extremely pleased upon receiving Lord Ram's ring. She blessed Hanumanji with immortality so that he would always protect the devotees of Lord Ram. This is also mentioned in Hanuman Chalisa, Asht Siddhi Nav Nidhi ke Data, Asab Deen Janaki Mata. But not just this, Hanumanji also received a boon from Lord Shiva that he cannot be killed by any weapon. Yamraj blessed him that he would never fall victim to death. Surya Dev had donated 1 1/4 parts of his radiance to Hanumanji.
In the battle of Mahabharat, Hanumanji was seated on Arjuna's chariot, and for 18 days he protected Arjuna. After the war ended, when Sri Krishna asked Arjuna to get down from the chariot, and Hanumanji also left the chariot, then the entire chariot burned to ashes. According to Srimad Bhagavad, in Kali Yuga Hanumanji resides on Gandhamadan mountain, which is located north of Kailash mountain. Now let's talk about Ashwathama, who was the son of Guru Dronacharya and Mother Kripi. Ashwathama's birth happened by the grace of Lord Shiva. His parents had performed severe penance to obtain a child, and Lord Shiva blessed them with a radiant son. Ashwathama was born in a cave on the banks of Tamsa river in the Himalayas, which is believed to be around Tapkeshwar temple in Dehradun today. As soon as he was born, a sound like that of a horse came from his throat. That's why he was named Ashwathama. There was a priceless gem in his forehead from birth, which protected him from demons, monsters, weapons, diseases, gods, and serpents. Ashwathama was a great warrior, and he had acquired knowledge of all divine weapons from his father, which included Brahmastra as well. In the battle of Kurukshetra, Ashwathama fought on the side of the Kauravas. When Guru Dronacharya was killed through deception, there was no limit to Ashwathama's anger.
The story goes like this. On the 10th day of the war, after Bhishma Pitamaha, Dronacharya was made the commander. To defeat him, Sri Krishna devised a plan. Bhim killed an elephant named Ashwathama, and a rumor was spread on the battlefield that Ashwathama had been killed. When Guru Dronacharya heard this, he wanted to know the truth from Dharmaraja Yudhishthir. Yudhishthir said, Ashwathama has been killed, but the elephant. But Sri Krishna blew the conch at exactly that moment, so Guru Dronacharya could not hear the last words, but the elephant. Distressed with grief, he laid down his weapons, and at that moment Draupadi's brother cut off his head. When Ashwathama learned of this deception, he vowed that he would not let any son of the Pandavas remain alive. At the end of the war, Ashwathama released Narayana Astra, which was extremely destructive. Sri Krishna knew its counter, and he asked all soldiers to throw away their weapons because this weapon could only kill those who had weapons. Thus the Pandavas were saved. But Ashwathama attacked the sleeping Pandava army at night and killed all the sons of Draupadi. Not only this, he also tried to kill the pregnant Uttara so that Arjuna's lineage would end. Then Sri Krishna, extremely enraged, cursed Ashwathama that he would wander the earth as a leper for eternity, he would not receive death, and would always suffer in agony. The priceless gem from his forehead was also removed. Due to this curse, Ashwathama became immortal. It is believed that he is still alive today and is suffering the punishment for his sins.
Ashwathama is considered a partial incarnation of Lord Shiva. 20 kilometers away from Burhanpur city in Madhya Pradesh, there is an ancient temple of Lord Shiva in the fort of Asirgarh. Local residents believe that Ashwathama comes to this temple daily to worship Shiva. The third Chiranjeevi is King Bali. King Bali was the grandson of devotee Prahalad and was a great Asura king. He was the emperor of an empire called Vairochan, and his capital was Mahabalipuram. King Bali was extremely powerful and had established his kingdom over all three worlds. While being a great donor, he also committed some unrighteousness. To defeat him, Lord Vishnu took the Vaman avatar. Vaman was in the form of a dwarf Brahmin and was the son of sage Kashyap and mother Aditi. The gods were unable to destroy King Bali because Bali had given the gods only enough land to perform yajnas. All the gods remained hidden in fear of him. Then all the gods took refuge in Lord Vishnu. One day when King Bali was planning a yajna, Vaman arrived there in the guise of a Brahmin to receive alms. Upon seeing him, Guru Shukracharya recognized him and warned King Bali that this is Lord Vishnu. Don't donate anything to him without asking. But King Bali did not heed Shukracharya's words and according to his promise, donated 3 steps of land to Vaman. Then Vaman assumed his gigantic form and measured the entire earth in 1 step, heaven in the second, and asked King Bali where to place the 3rd step. King Bali smiled and said, "O Lord, now only my head remains. You may place it there." Pleased with his devotion and generosity, Lord Vishnu made him the king of Patal Lok and blessed him to remain king until the end of Kal Yuga. King Bali said that if you are making me the king of Patal Lok, then bless me that my empire remains safe from enemies' conspiracies and that you stay with me. At his devotees' request, Lord Vishnu resolved to reside in King Bali's abode. According to Hindu religious texts, Asur King Bali still resides in Patal Lok today and he is immortal. The 4th Chiranjeevi is Maharshi Vedvyas. The real name of the present Vedvyas is Krishna Dvaipayana. In Dwapar Yuga, he was born as the son of Maharshi Parashar and Nishad girl Satyavati. Because he was born on an island and his complexion was dark at birth, he was named Krishna Dvaipayana. Later on, this same child came to be known as Vedvyas. Vedvyas is called the divider of the Vedas because he divided the Vedas into 4 parts: Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Samaveda and Atharva Veda. By dividing the Vedas into 4 parts, it became easier for common people to understand the knowledge of the Vedas. Vedvyas was born at the end of Treta Yuga. He was the biological father of Dhritarashtra, Pandu and Vidur. Vedvyas also wrote the Mahabharata. According to ancient scriptures, Maharshi Vedvyas was himself an incarnation of Lord Vishnu and he is immortal. His knowledge and penance was so great that he received the blessing of being a Chiranjeevi. The 5th Chiranjeevi is Vibhishan. Vibhishan was the youngest son of the demoness Kaikasi and sage Vishrava. Vibhishan was the younger brother of Ravana, the king of Lanka, and also the brother of Kumbhakarna. Even though he was born in a demon clan, he was righteous and considered himself a Brahmin because his father was a sage. Vibhishan opposed his brother Ravana's unrighteousness and sided with Lord Ram. He sacrificed even his family for dharma. Lord Shri Ram made Vibhishan the king of Lanka after killing Ravana. When Shri Ram was about to leave Ayodhya at the end of his reign, he assumed his true Vishnu form and commanded Vibhishan to remain on earth and serve the people. Vibhishan is considered one of the Chiranjeevis. It is believed that Vibhishan is still alive today and will remain alive until the end of Kal Yuga. His life is a symbol of the path of dharma and truth. The 6th Chiranjeevi is Kripacharya. Kripacharya, the son of Sharadvan, who was the son of Gautama Rishi, has an extraordinary birth story. Kripacharya's mother's name was Namapadi, who was a celestial maiden. Indra had sent Namapadi to distract Sharadvan from his penance because Sharadvan was very powerful and skilled in archery, which made Indra feel threatened. Impressed by the celestial maiden's beauty, Sharadvan's semen was discharged, which fell on a reed. That reed split into 2 parts, from which a boy named Kripa was born from one part and a girl named Kripi from the other part.
Sharadvan and Namapadi abandoned both children in the forest. King Shantanu saw them and out of compassion raised both of them, which is why they came to be known as Kripacharya and Kripi. Kripacharya fought on the side of the Kauravas in the Mahabharata war. He was Ashwathama's maternal uncle because Kripi was married to Guru Drona and their son's name was Ashwathama. After Bhishma and Drona in the war, he was made the commander. Kripacharya was one of the 18 great warriors who survived the war. At the end of the war, when Duryodhana lay wounded, Kripacharya had advised him that he should make peace with the Pandavas, but Duryodhana refused. Kripacharya received the boon of immortality for his extraordinary qualities and unblemished devotion. He was a supreme ascetic sage, and through the power of his penance, he came to be considered a Chiranjeevi. It is believed that Kripacharya is still alive today and is ready to protect Dharma. The seventh Chiranjeevi is Lord Parashurama. According to Hindu scriptures, Parashurama ji is considered the sixth avatar of Lord Vishnu. His father's name was Jamadagni and his mother's name was Renuka. Parashurama ji was born on Akshaya Tritiya at Janapav mountain in the village of Manpur in Indore district of Madhya Pradesh. Stories about Parashurama are found from Satya Yuga to Kali Yuga. It is believed that among the 8 Chiranjeevis present in Kali Yuga, one is Parashurama ji, who is still present on earth today. Parashurama received education in scriptures from his grandfather and father Jamadagni, and training in weapons was obtained from his father's maternal uncle Rajarshi Vishwamitra and Lord Shiva. Parshuram had 4 elder brothers. One day, when all the sons had gone to the forest to get fruits and Rishi Jamadagni was performing a yajna, he sent his wife Renuka to fetch water. While fetching water, Renuka saw Gandharva king Chitraratha playing in the water, which disturbed her mind. Maharshi Jamadagni came to know about this. When Parshuram's elder brothers also arrived there, Maharshi Jamadagni asked all of them one by one to kill their mother. But out of attachment, no one did so, and the sage cursed them. Just then, Parshurama arrived, and following his father's command, he killed his mother. Seeing this, Maharshi Jamadagni was very pleased and asked Parshuram to ask for a boon. Parshuram asked for the boon to revive his mother, cure his 4 brothers, and for there to be no memory of this incident. This sage fulfilled all his wishes. Lord Parshurama's father possessed the Kamadhenu cow. Once Kartivirya Sahasrarjuna, the king of the Hayaya dynasty, took away Kamadhenu from their ashram. Upon this, Parshuram chased him and cut off his 1,000 arms. When Sahasrarjuna's sons came to know about this, they went to Jamadagni's ashram and killed him. Parshurama's mother Renuka, disturbed by her husband's murder, entered the pyre and became a sati. This incident enraged Parshuram greatly, and he took a vow that he would destroy all the Kshatriyas of the Hayaya dynasty. He fought this dynasty 36 times and completely destroyed them. Parshuramji received the boon of immortality from Lord Shiva, who was pleased with his devotion. Lord Shiva gave Parashurama several divine weapons, including an axe which is called Parashu. Lord Parashurama still resides on Mahindra mountain. It is believed that he goes to the Himalayas at sunrise, does penance there, and returns at sunset. His footprints are all over India. The 8th and final Chiranjeevi is sage Markandeya. The story of him becoming a Chiranjeevi is described in the Uttarakhanda of the Padma Purana. Mrikandu Rishi pleased Lord Shiva by performing severe penance with his wife. Lord Shiva asked Mrikandu whether he wanted a long-lived foolish son or a short-lived virtuous son. Mrikandu wished for a virtuous son. Lord Shiva fixed Markandeya's age at 16 years. When Markandeya's 16th year began, his father was filled with grief. When the father told Markandeya the story of his short life upon being asked the reason, Markandeya took permission from his parents and went to the shore of the southern ocean and established a Shivlinga and became engrossed in worship. Markandeya composed the Mahamrityunjay mantra and kept chanting it for 1 year to please Shivaji. When 16 years were completed, Yamraj came to take him. Markandeya was immersed in Shiva devotion at that time. As soon as Yamraj moved forward to take his life, Markandeya clung to the Shivlinga. Markandeya said that I am praising Shivaji with the Mahamrityunjay Stotra, wait until I complete it. But death did not agree and forcefully tried to seize Markandeya. At that very moment, Mahadeva emerged from the Shivalinga and with a roar like a cloud struck Kal on his chest.
After this incident, Shivaji came to be known as Kalantak, which means the one who ends time. Lord Shiva not only protected Markandeya's life, but also, pleased with his devotion, freed him from death forever. He told Yamraj that you cannot take this child's life, we have granted this child long life. Yamraj bowed to Lord Shiva and left from there. Thus Markandeya became a Chiranjeevi. So friends, these were those 8 great Chiranjeevis who are still wandering on this earth today. Hanumanji, Ashwathama, King Bali, Vedvyasa, Vibhishana, Kripacharya, Parshurama and Markandeya Rishi. The stories of all of them teach us different lessons. Hanumanji teaches us the lesson of devotion and service. Ashwathama tells us how anger and revenge can become a curse. King Bali is an example of generosity and keeping one's word. Vedvyasa is a symbol of knowledge. Vibhishana teaches us that for the sake of dharma, one may have to oppose even one's family. Kripacharya is a symbol of dedication and duty. Parshurama shows the power of justice and resolve. And Markandeya tells the glory of devotion. In Sanatan Dharma, it is believed that when, at the end of Kali Yuga, the decline of Dharma will be at its peak, then Lord Vishnu will take the Kalki avatar. Lord Kalki will receive guidance from Parshuramaji and will do penance of Lord Shiva. From this penance, he will receive divine powers with which he will destroy unrighteousness from the world. In that great war, all these 8 Chiranjeevis will support Lord Kalki and will be helpful in the re-establishment of Dharma. This is the purpose of their immortality. This is the reason for their staying on earth. From these stories, we also understand that immortality is not only of the body. Real immortality is of one's deeds, of one's principles, of one's devotion. Hanumanji's devotion still inspires millions of people. Parashurama's love for justice is still remembered. Markandeya's devotion is still alive in the form of the Mahamrityunjay mantra. Vibhishana's adherence to dharma is still an ideal. This is real immortality, when your deeds and thoughts continue to inspire people for ages and ages. Even in today's time, we have a lot to learn from these Chiranjeevis. From Hanumanji, we learn how powerful selfless service and devotion are. When you are devoted to someone, when you serve without any selfishness, it makes you immortal. Hanumanji never asked for anything for himself. He always served others, and this is his greatness. From Ashwathama, we learn how anger and revenge can destroy us. When we cannot control our anger, when we burn in the fire of revenge, we ourselves become our own biggest enemy. Ashwathama was a great warrior, but his anger brought him a curse. Parashuram avenged his father's murder and ended the tyranny of the Kshatriyas. He is a symbol of justice, but along with that he also teaches us that penance and restraint are also necessary. After the war, he immersed himself in penance. From Markandeya, we learn that the power of devotion is limitless. When you worship someone wholeheartedly, with complete dedication, then God himself comes to protect you. Markandeya worshipped Lord Shiva with such devotion that Shivaji himself defeated death. This is the power of devotion. The stories of all these Chiranjeevis tell us that there are some values in life that never change. Devotion, dharma, justice, knowledge, service, duty, these are all eternal values. Ages change, time changes, but these values do not change. Whoever adopts these values becomes truly immortal. His body may be mortal, but his deeds, his thoughts, his devotion become immortal. In today's modern age, when we are lost in materialism, when we are forgetting what real values are, then the stories of these Chiranjeevis remind us what the real purpose of life is. Money, fame, power, these are all temporary. What is today will not be tomorrow. But your deeds, your devotion, your dharma, these are all eternal. These are the things that make you immortal. All these Chiranjeevis will remain until the end of Kali Yuga and will support the Kalki avatar. This is a very deep message. This tells us that there is always someone ready to protect dharma. Whenever adharma increases on earth, powers will manifest to protect dharma. These Chiranjeevis are symbols of the faith that goodness never dies, dharma never dies. If we think deeply, then there are Chiranjeevis in every age. Those people who become immortal through their great deeds. Even in today's age, there are many people whose deeds will make them immortal. The teacher who gives knowledge to students becomes immortal like Vedavyasa. The soldier who protects the country becomes immortal like Hanumanji. The judge who delivers justice becomes immortal like Parashurama. The person who fights for truth becomes immortal like Vibhishana. We can all become Chiranjeevis through our deeds. In the stories of these Chiranjeevis, there is another common thread, that is dedication. All of them showed complete dedication to someone or something. Hanumanji to Ram, Markandeya to Shiva, Vibhishana to Dharma, Parashurama to justice. This dedication is what makes them great. In today's time, we should all also be dedicated to some higher purpose. Whether it is service to the nation, service to society, or duty towards our family. When we are completely dedicated, we too can do great work. An interesting thing is also that among these 8 Chiranjeevis, some received immortality as a boon and some as a curse. Hanumanji, King Bali, Vibhishana, Markandeya, Parashurama received a boon, but Ashwathama received a curse. This tells us that immortality is not always a blessing. Sometimes it is also a punishment. For Ashwathama, immortality is a curse because he remains in suffering forever. This teaches us that the quality of life is more important than the length of life. A good, dharmic, short life is better than a long, painful life. The stories of these Chiranjeevis also teach us what the importance of family and relationships is. Vedavyasa, Krupacharya, Ashwathama all have complex stories of family relationships. Vibhishana opposed his brother. Ashwathama avenged his father. Parashurama killed his mother, though he later revived her too. All this tells us that sometimes in life we have to make very difficult decisions. Sometimes we have to oppose even our loved ones if they are on the wrong path. For today's youth, there is much to learn from these Chiranjeevis. From Hanumanji, physical and mental strength. From Ashwathama, the importance of anger control. From King Bali, generosity and magnanimity. From Vedavyasa, the importance of knowledge. From Vibhishana, differentiating between right and wrong. From Kripacharya, loyalty and dedication. From Parashurama, the spirit of struggle. From Markandeya, devotion and faith. All these qualities are as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago. In the stories of these Chiranjeevis, we see a wonderful confluence of science and spirituality. Ashwathama's forehead gem, Parashurama's divine weapons, Hanumanji's 8 siddhis, all these tell us how advanced the knowledge in ancient India was. Even today, science is trying to understand these things. Is immortality possible? Can a human live for hundreds or thousands of years? These questions are still relevant today and scientists are researching them. But the real message of these stories is not in physical immortality, but in spiritual and moral immortality. When we say that these Chiranjeevis are alive even today, it means that their thoughts, their principles, their deeds are still relevant today. Hanumanji's devotion still inspires millions of people. Vedavyasa's Mahabharata is still read today. Parashurama's justice is still remembered. This is real immortality. In the stories of these Chiranjeevis, there is another important message, that is of forgiveness and compassion. Lord Ram forgave Vibhishana and made him the king of Lanka. Lord Vishnu forgave King Bali and made him the king of the netherworld. Lord Shiva saved Markandeya. This tells us the divine powers are always compassionate. They punish but also forgive. Ashwathama also received a curse, but along with that, immortality too, so that he could atone for his sins. And learn from Ashwathama how to avoid anger and revenge. If you liked this video, then definitely like it and share it with your friends. Tell us in the comments which story among these 8 Chiranjeevis you found most inspiring. And yes, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that such interesting stories keep reaching you. Remember, real immortality is not of the body, it is of deeds. You too can become immortal through your good deeds. Thank you. Jai Shri Ram, Har Har Mahadev.